E questa è la base. Gioca, ma lo conosco, cioè lo conosco a O, nel senso l'ho giocato una vita e mezzo fa, quindi... c'ho una cassa, raga, ho una cassa che, scusate, non è colpa vostra, non è colpa mia, è colpa di Gesù Cristo. C'ho una cassa in sti giorni, sarà la primavera, che cazzo ne so. Gioca a Pokémon Rosso. Ma come, scusa, non devo... Le 23:44. L'audio è altissimo, ma per il semplice fatto che non ho regolato, qua è a 4 decibel, devo abbassare. Se no spacca i timpani sto gioco. Ma non avevo... Aspetta, aspetta. Cosa? Cosa? Prima di cominciare posso dire solo una cosa. Grazie ad aver impostato l'ora entrambe le volte che hai avviato il gioco. Molti non prendono questa cosa sul serio, lasciano l'ora su 12 e se ne fregano. Ma tu invece ti fermi il tempo necessario per inserirla, io lo apprezzo. Ma che cazzo dici? Perché così so che ci tieni a questa esperienza, che presti attenzione. Ma che cazzo dici? Ma scusa, ma che cazzo dici? Non ho neanche modo di verificare che gli orari che sta inserendo siano corretti. Sai che ti
Gli
dico, ti faccio un
sviluppatori del
regalo.
gioco di Gesù hanno detto di star aspettando che resusciti di nuovo Gesù per farsi aiutare a finire la storia.
Ma tu dici, dato che hai collaborato così bene, la prossima volta che avvii il gioco e vedi questa schermata, inserisci pure il tuo orario preferito. Ma sì, scegli l'ora che vuoi, anche se non è quella giusta, te lo sei meritato. Va bene, adesso ti lascio al videogioco. Ma che cazzo dici? Ma che cazzo dici? Ma questo gioco è un trip unico. Ok, vediamo se l'audio è ancora regolato bene. No. Che cazzo si cambia? Ok, l'audio è regolato bene, ok, quindi ha salvato. Sta cosa è veramente... Ok, abbiamo altri finali da fare.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Voglio fare...
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Abbiamo 1000 varianti da fare. È tipo 12.000, è un trip incredibile sto gioco.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Non so se ho finito di esplorare la porta a destra.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Yes, truly a room worth admiring. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Se vado giù dal ponte...
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
voglio finire.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ah, però la rossa non l'abbiamo mica provata. Vediamo la rossa per una volta.
Oh, thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I wanted to stop. I would We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you.
Oddio, ce ne sono due. Vediamo un attimo se rimango fermo o le chiudo, che succede. No, non dice un cazzo. Io entro in questa qua.
What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
Voglio vedere se c'è qualcosa o... Che bello che è, però. È la stanza delle droghe. Voglio vedere se si evolve in qualche maniera. È la stanza degli acidi, esatto. No, non voglio buttarmi, voglio andare avanti. Anche perché non poi si potrebbe buttare. Non posso buttarmi, infatti. Parric, grazie per i 4, Manatino. Grazie mille per il risub. Bentornato tra noi Paper Armate. E Paper, io vi ricordo ancora una volta che con Prime la sub è gratuita. O se no, costa solo 4 euro al mese per supportare me, il canale e tutti i contenuti che portiamo, Paper. O se volete giftare delle sub, sborro. Non sembra cambi niente. Proviamo ad andare avanti.
No, wait. Where are you going?
Se tornassi lì?
Right. Where were we?
Non dice più niente, non credo cambi niente. Bella però sta stanza.
Oh no! Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. Please, Stanley, think about what you're doing.
Beh, però scusami, non c'è altra soluzione, è un finale. A meno che non mi apra qualcosa.
No! Oh, thank God.
Come?
You lived. You had me worried. No. No, no, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this?
No, devo stare attento, non voglio skippare i dialoghi.
Stanley, let's go back to the other room.
Non riesco a
Can you do
morire.
that for me?
Mi sembra di stare andando sempre più piano.
My God, is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours.
Ma non capite, si era intrappolato in quel mondo parallelo di finta felicità e droga. È solo dipendente da un mondo distorto, distopico, di falsità. E io lo sto liberando da questa falsa utopia di colori e luci, nel quale ha perso la lucidità e la logica e la razionalità. Lo sto salvando da se stesso, la sua disperazione l'ha trascinato in un varco senza fine di allucinazioni visive e suoni che pensa li portino relax, ma in realtà lo distraggono solo da quelli che sono i veri problemi della vita. Scusate.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Tanto non ha memoria, qual è il problema?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No, perché... Proviamo. Voglio seguire la linea per un po'. Proviamo a seguire la linea un attimo, a seguire la storia che ci fa.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's
Proviamo a
office,
seguire un
hoping
po'.
he might find an answer there.
Proviamo a seguire la sua storia per una volta. Non l'abbiamo fatto neanche una volta, proviamoci. Wolfer ieri abbiamo giocato parecchio.
Coming to a
quindi...
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Voglio provare a vedere, seguendo un po' la sua linea. Money in the morning, money in the evening, morning for breakfast, money. Ah, ma ieri non l'hai fatto. Ah sì che l'ho... Ah no, non ho fatto questo pezzo qui. Però magari dicevo, ieri magari non c'eri e non l'avevi visto. Però se hai visto ieri, ok. Sono rimasto fermo nella stanza comunque, sia l'iniziale che quella delle clip lì. Nel bagno non dice niente. Oh mio Dio, è Barbascura! È Barbascura! Business strategy! Morta ai panda! Ma sono curioso. No, adesso sono curioso, scusami. No, adesso sono curioso. Voglio salire. Lo sapevo! Lo sapevo! Ci scommettevo che eravamo sempre allo stesso piano! Proviamo al piano giù, vediamo se cambia qualcosa. Proviamo a fare di nuovo, vediamo se cambia qualcosa. Questo gioco è così, perché questo gioco è tutto stupido, quindi proviamo. Non mi fa uscire. Se lo attivo non mi fa uscire. Sembra non succeda niente. Ok, andiamo.
Salve maestro. Grazie alla sua benedizione di ieri l'esame di oggi è andato alla perfezione.
Sono contento, patatino. Grazie per il CIR. A sto punto entriamo all'ufficio del capo.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him?
What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Effettivamente, come potrei saperlo? Accidenti, quale sarà il PIN? Porca miseria, quale sarà il PIN? È troppo segreto, non lo posso.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Un trofeo si sblocca non giocando per 10.
2845.
Ah, ovvio che metto il PIN sbagliato. Volevo aspettare che magari mi dicesse qualcos'altro.
But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story. Well, whoop-de-doo.
Non vedo! Non vedo, aiuto! Che imbecille!
Ciao Andre. Ho pensato che se tu portassi Placid Plastic Duck sarebbe molto divertente. Magari guarda su Steam.
Ci guarderò, Paladino, grazie mille per i giro.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Oh, Madonna! Non c'è se torno su.
Whoops. Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out. Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow! I'm bolted to the edge of my seat.
Gino, grazie per gli 8, Palatino. No, non era 2845, forse era 2846. Gino, grazie per gli 8, Palatino. Metrone per armate. Era 2846, mi sa. No? Come no? 2845. Allora sono io che... Però non va. Non va. Si vede che pensavo mi trollasse per quello che...
Incredible. Now he's getting back into the elevator and going down again. Ladies and gentlemen, how does he keep coming up with all of this? Did you think we were going to go forward down the spooky corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator. I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me.
È bellissima questa cosa. No! No, non vanno i tasti, no! No, dai! No, dai!
Oh my God. It's the boss's office.
Con la musica dan dan dan! Oh no! È l'ufficio del capo!
This absolutely changes everything for me. Give me a time out here for a minute while I process this. Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No! No, wait! No! I need more time to process.
Bellissimo!
All right. I have fully come to terms with it. I have made space in my worldview for this astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley.
È palese che ora facciamo un altro giro per controllare se cambia qualcosa.
Of course. Going back down in the elevator. How did I not anticipate it? I mean, sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before. I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
Ti prego, dimmi che posso ripremere su. Ok, stavolta non dice un cazzo. Ah no.
You know what? I've just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment. Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator. But the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating and having to guess, that's the real thrill. Oh, I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow? There we go. Isn't this so much more exciting? You know, Stanley, it seems like nowadays the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible. They want big, explosive moments flung right in their faces from the very moment that things get started. But where's the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises, to have to think and to anticipate, and then to marvel at the eventual reveal? This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years, and it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over and over. Truly, I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we all know it, which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley. Because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you. Which is why... Oh, I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you so that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life. Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better. Oh good, we're here.
È cambiato! No, ora sono curiosissimo. Ah, non posso tornare giù. Ora no, sono curiosissimo.
Okay, the room where we're holding the
Andrea,
press conference should
proviamo
be
a
just
seguire
around
le
the
sue
corner here
indicazioni.
somewhere.
Sempre Andrea. Voglio vedere che succede se faccio di testa mia.
Sono curioso, Aaron, grazie per il cibo. World Health Human Being, how we did the pyramids. Però vedi, è cambiato, che figata.
Ah, yes,
Stanley.
here it is, just through this door.
The Stanley Parable Tonight Live on Stage. Ma che cazzo dici? Cioè, come si va lontano? Ok, non dice un cazzo.
All right, are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry, you'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley. Okay, it looks like they're ready for you. Go get 'em.
Signori, papere! Papere! Sono qui! Sulle ali, papere! Benvenuti! E questo era un finale. Questo era un altro finale.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Bello.
What could it mean?
Ora stavolta non
Stanley
facciamo i
decided to
coglioni
go to
con
the meeting room.
l'ascensore.
Perhaps he had
Stavolta
simply
facciamo le
missed a
cose,
memo.
seguiamo l'indicazione originale.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
Che cazzo dici? Vabbè, ma new content.
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on home computers. After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, a reimagining of the game for consoles and home computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
Ora sono curioso.
Please, step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Oh, well, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
Cosa c'è adesso rientro? Ah, niente, ok.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure. Is it broken? What's going on here? Should we be moving somewhere or... Oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on to the new content. I've never been more ready. Let's do it. I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if, Oh, okay. Let's see the content. Gimme the content, Stanley.
E che cazzo vuoi da me? Mica l'ho fatto io.
All right. All right, let's see. It's the jump circle.
Giusto, non si poteva saltare. Non si poteva saltare, effettivamente. Oh, ragazzi, ma dai, ma questo è un content bellissimo, raga. Vi rendete conto il cerchio del salto? Ma questo è il futuro del gaming, ragazzi. Questo è DLC. No. Ma io volevo saltare.
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right? Goodness, another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content? If this is new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could count to 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Thank you for enjoying.
That's it? Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's achievements, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test achievement, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable. It's my fault, Stanley. I built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could never have lived up to such expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game and we'll try to get back to what the Stanley Parable is really about. No frills, no gimmicks. Just you and me having a great time together like always. What do you say, friend?
Ma che cazzo dici? Non è lo stesso posto. Narratore? Narratore? Questo è il mio ufficio!
Stanley,
Che c'è?
come over here. In the vent. I want to show you something.
Aspetta, fammi esplorare un attimo.
Oh, you don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who cares? Oh, never mind. You're not a dork.
Sono curioso, voglio vedere che cos'è.
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look.
Sono curioso ora. Che cazzo?
I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap re-release? Remember back in October of 2013, when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something.
Vai,
Oh, the waste.
Ma la TV a tubo catodico, scusami. Nuovo videogioco rilasciato oggi, New York Times, ma che cazzo dici?
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism, 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James Stephanie Sterling writes, and I quote, "Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was. It was literally every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing. It's no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
Cosa abbiamo qui sotto? È chiuso. Volevo esplorare.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com. The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the...
Cosa succede se lo muto? Cosa succede se lo muto?
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
Cosa succede se lo muto? Non succede niente? No, pensavo dicesse qualcosa. Vi giuro pensavo dicesse qualcosa.
Stanley.
Need anything else. It didn't need new content. It just needed to be left alone, to spend the rest of time collecting dust in the hallowed hall of beloved video game memories.
Questo gioco, ragazzi, è un trip incredibile.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh, no. Oh, God, no. Stanley, it's a collection of reviews from Steam, the online video game distributor. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they? Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Dimmi che quello era un commento vero che hanno inserito nel gioco e io detono malissimo. Oddio, la zona delle recensioni è tragica.
Okay, let's see what this one says. While the idea for the game is good, for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley? I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with. You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as it... Well, I always thought it did. But maybe it wasn't. Oh dear. What an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record. I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered.
Andre, un mio compagno di classe ci ha provato con la mia migliore amica per un mese. Nell'ultima settimana si è fatto più invasivo cominciando a toccarla e tc.
Anche se
Ieri
so
dopo
toccarla.
mezz'ora che lo allontanavo da lei e torna a toccarle le cosce gli ho dato un pugno sul viso e gli ho rotto il naso. Ora sono strane i casini.
Ma va?
Secondo te cosa dovevo fare?
Beh, prima di tutto, se la tua amica ci stava a farti i cazzi tuoi, scusami, eh. Cioè, se la tua amica ci stava, non è la tua proprietà, voglio dire. Se lasciala trombare con sto tizio se non te l'ha da te, scusami. Ma poi che cazzo di reazione è un pugno sul naso? Ma sei normale? Ma scusami, eh. Devi calmarti, prenditi del bromuro, sei troppo arrapato, fatti più seghe, perché altrimenti qua hai gli ormoni a palla. Step, grazie per la sub anticipata di 3 mesi, Valentino. Grazie mille per la sub. Devi calmarti, fatti del Valium o tromba con qualcuno.
What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Ragazzi, comunque l'idea di mettere le recensioni è bellissimo. Cos'è il
And
button?
here it is. Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time so that the second my incessant droning starts to bore you, with just the push of a button, you'll have zipped right past it. It's what the players have been asking for, and I'm very proud to have delivered. No more listening to me rambling on and on and on. No. The Stanley Parable is a game for the people. And if the people want silence, then by goodness, that's what they're going to get. Well, don't sit around waiting for me to shut up. Go ahead and make me shut up. Here, we'll pretend that I've just begun an interminable monologue, and it goes something like this. The story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. That the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say... the story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. That the logic of elimination working backwards, the deduction therefore becomes impossible to manufacture. It went on for nearly 10,000 years, until just yesterday, here and there, forward and back, and never a moment before lunchtime. It can't be. It's the only thing there is. How many billions left until so much more than forever ago? Which is why I say... the story and the choices, or what have you, and therefore by becoming it is, so on and so forth, until inevitably we all until the end of time, at which time everything all at once, so now you see, blah 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 blah. We've eaten too much and it can't be just yet, no, until 245. That the logic of elimination... Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and lengthy ruminations on the nature of choice in video games. Of course, I happen to believe it was perhaps one of my more profound such ruminations. Not that, of course, you need a description of it.
È bellissima questa parte. Comunque, patatino, un 30 secondi al volo. Lo so che siete ragazzi, lo so che siete arrapati, lo so che siete pieni di ormoni, aggressività, perché io alle superiori ero uguale. Anche io alle superiori ero uguale, mi prudevano sempre le mani, volevo ficcare il cazzo anche nel buco della serratura, però devi cercare di controllarti, perché ricordati che viviamo in una società civile e non puoi tirar pugni in bocca alla gente perché si comporta da stronzo, specialmente considerando che magari alla tua amica piace il fatto che voi due vi meniate per lei, gli piace ricevere attenzioni, gli piace di essere corteggiata e magari non la darà a nessuno di voi due. Quindi mi raccomando, controllati perché hai fatto una stronzata, ora cerca di calmarti, chiedi scusa al tuo amico e cerca di capire cos'è meglio da fare, perché magari la tua amica la vuol dare a lui e tu non puoi pedirgliela, quindi.
But if
Detto
I
ciò,
had to describe it... Well, there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it's right... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well,
grazie
I want
per
to
il
say maybe
Valentino, grazie
30,
per il
45
sub.
minutes? Stanley! Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it for... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks? I've been sitting here all that time. Just sitting here. Not a single person to speak with. And you'd think that that's just how it's always been, right? Me talking and you saying nothing. Would you think that it's exactly the same as always? Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about everything we've been through. I've had so much time, I stopped keeping track after a year. Have you ever sat down in one place and not moved for one entire year? Let me describe it for you. To begin with, there is only regret. There is only the turning wheel of missed opportunities. I felt nothing at all but regret for the longest time, Stanley. Days, months. I lost it all in a blur of the deepest longing to undo the past. And when that feeling had begun to subside, what took its place is what I can only describe as the collapse of every moment I have ever experienced my entire life. All of them collapsed down into a single...
Narratore? Narratore? Oddio. Credo sia morto. Narratore? 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 Oh mon Dieu.
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a pathetic little thumbs-down review and make all of their pitiful demands. But then, he's talking too much, they said. First, he didn't entertain us, now he won't...
Ma scusa, quanti anni sono passati?
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end,
is never the end. Sì, lo so, quello che sto barra di caricamento fa ridere letto da lui. Oh mio Dio. Che cosa è successo? Credo siano passati forse millenni, credo. Effettivamente. Mi piace come io eventualmente riesco a sopravvivere senza mangiare né bere, cioè praticamente io sono immortale. Credo abbiamo perso. Che cos'era, scusate? Che cos'era? Ci sono gli UFO o dei pterodattili? Siamo sicuri che porti in avanti e non all'indietro questo pulsante? Ah, pensavo di essere ribaltato io. Credo che il pulsante sia rotto. Credo dovremmo uscire perché il pulsante si è rotto. Dove siamo? Terra nel milione. Siamo all'esoto. Tutto ciò per delle recensioni negative. Bello, carino.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
New content abbiamo già fatto, quindi andiamo avanti con l'altra parte.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ora andiamo direttamente nel corridoio dove farci vedere lui.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he might coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ora c'è la scritta con i LED, è vero, però ora volevo andare avanti di qua. Tanto credo rimanga.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. and so the boss had assigned it an extra
Voglio provare a
secret pin
sbagliare il
number,
codice.
2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Vediamo se sbaglio.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Ok, stavolta non facciamo su e giù, andiamo giù e continuiamo.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word Escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Lo so, ma le curiosità,
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death. As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Chi era quella?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Chi è lei?
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Credits? Dai, ma che figo è? Devi farla sub, patatino, ti conviene farla sub per schivare le pubblicità.
Stanley pushed the big red button.
Narrazione è praticamente i titoli di coda, cioè dietro le quinte, esatto. Tipo i credits. Però che figata la narratrice. È tipo un museo del gioco, che bello che è.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let
Volevo troppo curioso di cosa succedeva. Adesso sono stracurioso. Ci sono troppi finali.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Il LED con new content c'è ancora, ok, quindi possiamo farlo quando ci vuole.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ok, con calma. Ora, se non ci sono altre varianti, perché io le varianti le voglio vedere, ragazzi, ho troppo curioso.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he might coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
Ho già fatta
office.
quella dello sgabuzzino.
The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he? Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Epico. Epico. Non ho un cazzo da dire, epico. Giustamente non è arrivato il tempo di finire il discorso, effettivamente.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
No, non voglio suicidarmi ora. No, ti prego, non darmi questa scelta. Ah no, non posso. Oh cazzo, posso.
Aha! You've made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. Welcome! You see, back when the Stanley Parable first launched in 2013, getting to the bottom of the mind control facility was a bug that we simply didn't catch during development. And you all sent us lots of photos of it on Twitter and acted very superior about it. And you're all very, very clever. Good for you. Anyway, when it came time to update the game, we knew that we had to do something about this little goof of ours. So here you go. New content. You can call it the bottom of the mind control room ending, if that enhances your perception of the value of these updates. Isn't that what you crave? New content? Always more content, more content, more. And I'm here to give it to you. I'm here to make it seem like we really covered every nook and cranny of the game, with secrets and Easter eggs. How about this? We wrote a new piece of music just for this section. You won't hear it anywhere else in the game. It's a secret that's just for you. That's how special you are. We call this track, Good Job You've Made It to the Bottom of the Mind Control Facility. Well done.
Good job, you did it. Good job. 3, 2, 1. Good job, you made it to the bottom of the mind control facility. Jumped on the catwalk. You should have been careful. You should have been careful. It used to be a bug, but now it's an ending. Now it's an ending. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to cross this barrier and chase your dreams.
È anche bello, tra l'altro.
The railings don't mean anything. Good job, you did it. 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 Good job, you did it.
Bellissimo. Ok. Ci siamo quasi.
Stanley knew the office layout like the back of his hand. It was only a matter of time before he found the others, wherever they were. Just a matter of time.
Non diceva così. Non diceva così prima.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on
L'ho già
his
fatto il
left.
ripostiglio, patatino, l'ho fatto ieri.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ma rifallo.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad. Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Ma non diceva così. Non diceva così.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Si è stufato anche il narratore.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Employee. Employee.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself? Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
Bellissimo. Questo gioco è bellissimo. Papere, mi fermo qui perché sono un po' cotto. Papere, io anche questa sera vi ringrazio per i follow, il cheer, le sub, il divertimento, le risate. Noi ci vediamo domani alle 21 per una nuova live. Io vi auguro tanta buona Anna Paratini, vi mando un abbraccio e un bacione. Noi ci vediamo domani. Notte, papere!